compare your dating life here versus Houston?
Yeah, so the dating life in Kenya is much, there's no way to really quantify it, but it's much better than Houston, because even if you do get a date in Houston, like I'm a good looking guy, I'm able to get dates in Houston. But when you get on the date, you're going to feel miserable because she's gonna talk shit to you. She's gonna make you feel miserable in some form or fashion. Like, that's just how Black American women are. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm speaking from my experience. I'm not saying that's how all of them are. That's just from my experience. But women in Kenya, they're just so warm and welcoming. Their disposition is so much better than a Black American woman.
Jared, you've been back and forth through Nairobi, Kenya, 6 months at a time since 2022. Can you tell everybody what is so great about Nairobi that has you coming back on a consistent basis like that?
Yeah, so what's so great about Nairobi is the people. Not all the people, though, because like on my YouTube channel, they was telling me to go back to America yesterday. But most of the people are really good. Like if you're walking around on the streets, they're nice. The food is good. The culture is good. Like all of the creature comforts that I enjoy, like the gym, the restaurants, everything is here for me.
And where are you from?
From Houston, Texas.
And what exactly do you do that allows you to maintain your lifestyle here in Nairobi?
Yeah, what I do that allows me to maintain everything is I have clients that have autism usually, or special needs in general, and I provide telehealth services to them. So I got my education in the United States, and then got my degrees and everything, and then was able to transition my practice telehealth. And now I'm able to service my clients while being wherever I want to be in the world.
And have you been able to, so you said you were able to transition your business here in Nairobi. Can you tell me more about how that experience has been transitioning telehealth services here?
Yeah, so the telehealth transition has been seamless. Like, I have an M1 Macbook where I have it set up at home, like my desktop and everything. I also have like a laptop I can work from anywhere. As far as transitioning my LLC to here, though, it is completely different, and it's very difficult to do so, like in Kenya, because one, they want to be bribed. But then if you bribe them, you may not bribe the right person, and then you have to bribe another person. So like the bureaucracy and like trying to actually do business here is very difficult. But the telehealth, like I could go anywhere and it's fine.
Okay, so what made you decide to come to Kenya in the first place?
What made me decide to come to Kenya was I just was doing research. Like, I saw Bobby's videos, I saw Austin's videos, and some other guys that were here. I think Czech as well came here like in 2020 or something first. And I just saw these videos. I'm like, so I was thinking about like Ghana, Johannesburg. I was thinking about spots like that. I even thought about Lagos at one point. And then I was like, Nairobi seems like the best spot out of all of them because of the good mixture between decent infrastructure, not great, but decent infrastructure, the food, and all of the things that I want to do is here in Kenya.
Okay, and what were the expectations you would say that you had of Kenya based off the videos that you say you saw? Czech's videos, my videos, Bobby. What did we make you expect coming here?
So even though I watched you all's videos, I saw what y'all portrayed Kenya to be, I still had in the back of my mind that there was huts and giraffes walking around on the streets, because that's what the Western media will push into your brain. Even like when you 5 or 6 years old, they're like, yeah, it's nothing but starving little boys in Africa. So I still had that in the back of my brain, but I think y'all did a good job of saying, hey, look, it's not like that. But until you actually experience, you don't really believe.
So that being said, you said you had the expectations of giraffes or lions running around. What was the first thing that you did notice when you got off the plane?
When I got off the plane, the first thing I noticed wasn't no damn AC in the airport. It's hot as hell. And the airport was like kind of dilapidated. I'm like, oh man, this is not starting off well. And then I got to the place where you get the visa stamp. The guy was kind of rude. He was like, where's your visa? I'm like, I don't know. Like, it's on my phone here. He's like, no, you need to print it. So it was kind of a rough experience at first at the airport. The airport's not very nice here, to be honest. But yeah, once I got out of the airport and I started experiencing things on a day-to-day, it took me a couple of days to get used to the infrastructure, and like I was definitely in culture shock. Like sometimes I still get it to this day after all these years. But it's mainly went away. But it took a while to get over the culture shock aspect of things, but after that it was like, yeah, this is a great place.
Compared to Houston, Texas, how would you compare Houston, Texas to Nairobi?
So the comparison between Nairobi and Houston is not fair, and there's not really a comparison to be made, to be honest, other than if you're talking about the people here are kind of similar to the people in Houston, where the people in Houston, they know how to dress, they're stylish, they go out, they like to party. The difference is here the people are much nicer in person. Online they're assholes here, kind of, but like in person they're really nice here, and then like in Houston they're not nice at all. As far as the infrastructure, there's no comparison. Like if you go down a highway in Houston, you'll go 30 or 40 miles without seeing any potholes. So miles, that's about what, like 40, 50 kilometers. Anyways, so the infrastructure and like the way things look, it looks very clean everywhere you go. We're here right now in a very clean area. That's why I like being over here, because it's like it kind of reminds me of home a little bit, and it's really nice. But as far as the infrastructure and how things operate, there's really no comparison as far as the infrastructure and like the buildings and things of that nature.
Well, that I know the infrastructure, yes, compared to a place like Dallas or Houston or even Miami, the infrastructure is way better, and it's like you said, no potholes. I actually fell in a pothole out here, and I had to. It wasn't a great experience, but with that being said, even though that Houston has great infrastructure, compared to safety in Houston to here,
the safety to Houston and here, I feel much safer here. I walk around the streets all day, like just talking in Nairobi. I'm on the phone or I'm like vlogging or whatever I'm doing in Nairobi, and I never really feel in danger. The people here make you feel pretty safe. The people in Houston, every day if you go to a certain area in Houston, there's a shooting. If you go to a certain club, there's a shooting or there's a fight. If you go to, if you look like on the news, there's always like school shootings in Houston. So the gun violence is much worse in Houston. The violence in general is much worse in Houston than here. And you definitely feel it when you walk around the streets.
Yeah, I could 100% agree. I've been in Kibera at nighttime. I mean, I had somewhere I was going. I wasn't just walking around just to walk around, but that's the neighborhood that they put on National Geographic.
Yeah.
That's what people think of. That's what Americans will think of when they think of Nairobi. They either think of the safari or they think of Kibera.
Yeah.
They don't know that there's a place like this where we're sitting at right now that has food, I would say, even better than the food that we would have in Texas for a third of the cost or even a quarter of the cost.
Yeah.
So that being said, another comparison, and some people might not like this, compare your dating life here versus Houston.
Yeah, so the dating life in Kenya is much, there's no way to really quantify it, but it's much better than Houston, because even if you do get a date in Houston, like I'm a good looking guy, I'm able to get dates in Houston. But when you get on the date, you're going to feel miserable because she's gonna talk shit to you. She's gonna make you feel miserable in some form or fashion. Like that's just how Black American women are. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm speaking from my experience. I'm not saying that's how all of them are. That's just from my experience. But women in Kenya, they're just so warm and welcoming. Their disposition is so much better than a Black American woman. So even that, like either way, the way that I am, like the way that I can have a conversation and the way that I look, I'm able to get women wherever I am in the world. But the women here are just so much more, they're better quality than the women back home.
But yeah, I would agree. Yes, the overall experience dating here, I've met some Kenyan guys that say, like, oh no, they're just like the Atlanta girls. I'm like, yeah, I don't think you've been to Atlanta. Yeah, there's no, you wouldn't be saying that.
Nah.
Because even when we want to talk about physical health, America, we can look up statistics later. That's not even discussion.
Yeah.
Yes, there is some like westernization. Yes, you have issues. It's not a utopia where nothing is going wrong. But again, it's the frequency. I've been on dates here, like what you said. In Houston, they'll be talking shit and trying to make you feel bad, gaslighting you, asking if you gay. They'll be doing stuff. I haven't had nobody ask me if I was gay here, but essentially they'll be gaslighting you in the States all the time when you go on dates. Here, maybe like 10%. Now, I bump into it here and there, and it's not really enough for me to get online and complain about. Versus when I was in Dallas, that was like, yo, something can't be right about this. This is too much. But so that being said, when it comes to dating, what shocked you the most or surprised you the most about dating here?
What surprised me the most about dating in Kenya was, for one, so there's a big group of men on the internet, and the I guess the most ignorant people are the loudest sometimes. There's a group of men on the internet that make it seem as if you need to pay to play here. And they continue to preach this as if it's the only thing to do. So I guess I was expecting every time I would go on a date with a Kenyan woman that she would ask me for money, just based upon the conversations or the TikTok, whatever I was seeing on social media as far as these weird ass dudes that was saying that you needed P for P. And then I get here and there's so many women that will just love you for you or like you for you, and they will go on a date with you and they won't ask you for anything, and then they'll treat you as if you're like the king of the castle, and you know what I mean? You could just meet her a week ago and she's gonna treat you like that.
Yeah.
So I've never really been treated so warm and welcoming by women, or just in people in general, but especially the women. Like, I've never been treated so well as I have here.
Yeah, and it's good that you're telling people that, because some people do have that same perspective that you had, and that's the importance of having a community of people that are already here.
Yeah.
Which is why you're in my group chat. I have about 60 people in the group chat right now. If you book a consultation at the link below, or if you join my Patreon that's in the first pinned comment, I can add you to the group chat. But let's get back to that. So, yes, we're not saying that, you won't have to pay for the dinner date, which is irrelevant anyway, because that's not, it's a fourth of the cost here.
Yeah.
But culturally, since they're different, there's stuff that you had to pay for. But it's not like, I know what you're saying, those dudes make it seem like you got to come out of a car note just to get a date. It's not like that at all. And usually when you hear those dudes that say that, I'm not going to say the names of these businesses because I don't want them coming after me legally. But well, I guess it's not. I could say it because they know what kind of clientele they got. But there's some places right here in Westlands. There's some places even in Lavington, Kilauea.
Yeah.
And so I talked to him on the phone. I had a guy tell me one time he didn't book a consultation with me. I didn't know who this guy was. And he's like, hey, you need to start telling the truth about dating here. Y'all are kind of hyping it up. All these chicks are like this, that, and that. He's sending me screenshots. So I was telling him, like, stop. Where did you meet her at? He told me, I said, if you would have booked on the phone, I would have told you that.
Yeah.
I would have told you, do not do this, do not do that. I want you guys to have the best experience. But, again, like I said, the link would be in the first pinned comment. So what's one thing you wish your friends back home in Houston knew about Nairobi?
I wish the people back home in Houston, not even just my circle of friends or my family members, I wish black people in general knew how liberating it is to be here in Nairobi, how it feels. In America, I think we're having this conversation with a guy who was yelling and screaming and acting like a child. It's like, hey, you already know what it is. Like, as Americans, we are descendants of people who did nothing but fight, right? My grandfather was in like the segregation era, so I have conversations with him about how he was sprayed with water hoses, how he was beaten, how he was, he had to go to the black-only stalls. So we are people who are used to fighting and feeling as if we need to do so on a day-to-day basis. And I just wish that the black people in America would know how liberating it is to feel as if that fight is over and you could just come here and relax. The fight is still going on in America. We see it, right? We see the guy who was murdered. We see all of the things that are going on. The fight's still going on there. But here, the fight doesn't exist. Everybody is Karibu Kenyan. You know what I mean? So it's like how liberating that feels. I think that's very, very underrated about being here.
Yeah, and a lot of people may be thinking that, oh, well, that's just y'all's experience because y'all are foreigners. But if you pay attention to how they talk to each other versus back home, how we talk to our people in our community and our country.
Yeah.
The way how, first of all, we don't even really like to sit next to each other at lunch. We don't really have nothing to say, and if it's very common for it to be negative or just a very tense.
Yeah.
Versus here, you can notice that everybody talks to each other like they know each other already. Yeah. Especially when they're speaking Swahili. The entire vibe is different. And you already answered my question. I was going to ask you about feeling free here. But what energy do you get from the locals, let's say men and women? Like, how do you notice that the men? How many countries have you been to?
About 18, 19.
Okay, so have you been to Brazil?
Haven't been to Brazil yet.
Well, let's say some other country you've been to. Let's say the men. Do you think that the men here are more welcoming here versus most of the other countries that you went to?
They are, unless they think that you're looking at their women.
Yes.
So the men here are welcoming unless they think you're looking at their women. If they think you're looking at their women, then they come real defensive.
Yeah.
But as far as like having conversations with them, I have conversations with Kenyan men every day. So they're very welcoming. Like you were saying, if you go to one of those spots in Dallas that's all black, you're going to feel tension the entire time. Everybody's going to be wearing dumbass clothes like Gucci Louis and be broke. The culture, the black culture in America is now degeneracy. That's the main culture of black people in America is degeneracy. If you don't believe me, turn on the black television and see what's going on. Degeneracy. So here it's not degeneracy. It is a family feeling when you talk to Kenyans.
So last question, do you see yourself moving here permanently to Kenya?
Yep, that's the plan. I see myself moving here, and I see myself opening up a clinic and trying to help children with autism and bringing the mental health space here that I have in Houston and trying to continue to compound upon like the conferences I've done here already and things of that nature.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you doing this interview today. I know you have a channel yourself. If you can give yourself a shout out, tell everybody where they can find you at. Yeah,
so Jay the Behavior Analyst is my YouTube channel. Pretty small channel. I've only been doing it for about 6 months, but we almost up to 1,000, so it's cool. And then my YouTube is J_B Bravo C Charlie B Bravo A Alpha. So J the Beast BA.
All right, you guys. Well, that is Jared. He's loving Nairobi the same way I have. I'm gonna bring back these videos of testimonials because some people, they're gonna always doubt what we say, but it's one thing to have somebody that's here in the flesh in Nairobi that's telling you. So if you guys want to join that network I was telling you guys about, so you don't end up like these guys that don't join the network and then they complain about stuff that we're not complaining about, make sure you click the link in the first pinned comment in the description, and I'll see you guys on the other side.